Oh, we struggle in all aspects of school.
Yeah.
We had PE down. That's about it.
And lunch.
PE and
I was
lunch.
ready for lunch.
That has stayed true to form.
Sean Watson, another step back, which I will say a lot of his problem had O-line coach. 8 sacks.
Yeah.
8 sacks. That's good. Glad that.
It's going to be back like when Vic came back to the league after the dog hit him.
Yes! You took a fire move now.
Damn it!
That is your phone.
You say it's a mock draft? I love that intensity. I want this guy on my team. It's a mock draft. No one gives a damn. We're throwing it away. And he broke his phone.
I just got 3 things to say. God bless our troops. God bless America. And gentlemen, start your engine!
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Benchwarmers Basement Banter. This is the Pick'em Show. The regular episodic is on hold, but should be coming back here in the next couple of weeks. As you see, it is just me, Stat Guy. Rogers is in knee-deep in home restoration and other stuff. Woody is still knee-deep in harvest. And as I think I've said before, it is going to be on Discord for a while, as those two guys are busy and Rogers is doing a move and the new podcast studio has to be discussed and set up. So you're going to be seeing us like this for a little while. But anyways, this is week 8 of the Pick'em Show. Last week we had an overall record of 34-26, so we did pretty good. Rogers 8-7, Woody 9-6, myself 10-5, and Oracle 7-8. Season record, we are 208 and 222. We are working on getting that up from the early season hole, which, as we've done this last year and this year, that's usually what happens. Overall, Rogers 52-56, Woody also 52-56. I am 51-57, trying to catch those guys, and Oracle straight 500, 54-54. Overall, the locks last week were 5-3. We had 8 total. That's a lot. 26-24 lock on the year. So the locks are doing better than they did last year. I'll go ahead and get started. Vikings at Chargers, favored by 3. Basically, the 4 of us do not believe in Carson Wentz. 2 sprains is a wild card, and we think that wild card is not going to work. So we are all on the Chargers here, locked. They lost to Indy last week, not a big deal. We've seen Indy's a complete team, the most complete team in football. The injuries on the Chargers is a little concerning, especially with the running back and offensive line, but do think overall they're a better team. Move on, Jets, Bengals. We're all Bengals by 6.5 at Cincinnati. We're all on the Bengals here. It's another lock. No belief in the Jets at all. They look pretty terrible. Not the worst looking team in football, in my opinion. We'll get to that game in a little bit in that team. No Garrett Wilson still for the Jets, it looks like. That's a huge, huge deal. He is the only bright spot that they have so far. And Flacco looks like he knows that all he's got to do is get the ball to Jamar Chase and T. Higgins every once in a while, but mainly Jamar Chase, and good things happen. He's got a receiver like he's never had before, and he's going to use it, by gosh. So, Bengals lock again. Next game, 49er at Texans. Texans favored by 1.5. This was the hardest game for me to pick. I have picked against the Niners all year long because I just thought the injuries would catch up to them, but they have voodoo magic. Starting to get healthy again. We're all on the 49ers because of it. We don't have much faith in the Texans. So we're 49ers for sure here. Another lock. Next game, Bears at Ravens. Ravens favored by 6.5. The other 3 are on the Ravens. Looks like Lamar's going to play. We don't know for sure, but that line tells you that they think he's going to play. I'm more concerned with the Ravens even if Lamar plays. I think that defense is not good at all. The rushing attack hasn't been there at all. I think the Bears could actually win this game, not just cover. So I keep this from being a lock. I think the Bears cover. We move on to the Dolphins at the Falcons. This is a team I was talking about. There's nothing good to say about the Miami Dolphins right now. No way we would ever even pick them in a pick 'em. Can't believe they won one game. That whole thing needs imploded. Falcons, lock this in. Bills favored by 7 at the Panthers. Rogers has picked the Panthers. The rest of us has picked the Bills. I think he's kind of going off of how the Bills have kind of played, and that it being at home, Panthers have looked better. Dowdle's definitely looked ridiculous. I just think the Bills might use this as a game to get back on track and beat the crap out of the Panthers. That's my thoughts. I don't know what his thoughts are. We didn't discuss them, but he keeps it from being a lock. We move on to the Giants at the Eagles. Eagles favored by 7.5. We are actually split 50-50 on this one. We got Rodgers and the Oracle on the Giants. Myself and Woody on the Eagles. I know everybody's picking the Giants. They're the hot, fun team with Dart and Scatterbo, and I get that. I just think the Eagles are a more complete team, even a more complete team than what they faced last week, which they did. They did, cover spread, or not really cover, but they beat the spread against the Broncos last week. But I do think, Eagles are going to have this one, in my opinion. We move on to the Browns at the Patriots. We lock this one again. Browns have looked okay from time to time, but Pats have looked really good. They could look even better if they decide to give Travion Henderson the ball, but everybody knows what's going on there, or doesn't know what's going on there. Can't believe they wished him a happy birthday on Twitter. If you followed that and see how that went, every question was, "How about you reward him for his birthday to give him some more carries?" Uh, my opinion is, even when they do, they don't use him right. They don't realize, hey, he's fast. He's really fast and electric. Maybe get him on an outside sweep. Maybe set him up on a bootleg or something like that, or a screen pass because he can catch the ball. Get the ball to him in space, not keep running him up the gut like he's freaking Derrick Henry. That's what Ramondre does. But Josh McDaniels is a dumbass. We all know this. Can't believe he's still there. He has dirt on the Patriots. That's why he keeps coming back after his failed coaching experiences. That people realize he's just terrible and a terrible person and a terrible coach. Can't do that. But anyways, as you see, I don't like that guy. We move on. Bucks favored by 4.5 at the Saints. Woody actually picks the Saints here. Don't know his rationale. I'm guessing he's looking at this as, oh, I can make up a game on these guys if the Saints happen to cover, because that's how he thinks. I don't think that's the way to think. It's never worked out for him. It's probably worked maybe once or twice, but it normally does not work out for him when he tries that. He could have a different rationale. I don't know, but that's my guess. Is he thought this is a game he can make up because he knew we'd all be on the Bucks. I think the Bucks are far superior here. Saints, they need a lot of work too. Move on. Titans at Colts. Rodgers keeps it from being a lock. He has picked the Titans. Colts are favored by 14. They dog walked them in the first game. I think they're going to do it again. He may be thinking that they get a bump from the fired head coach, and maybe they play better after that, which is a solid way to think, and it's a lot of points. I just think the Colts are the most complete team in football. They should be undefeated if A.D. Mitchell wasn't dumb. If you watch that Rams game on, I think they played Thursday night, right? It was the morning game, the overseas game in Ireland or England or whatever. But the announcer kept bringing up that the Rams are a couple falls away from things going right, that they'd be undefeated. And I'm like, well, you can keep saying that, but it's very clear that they should have lost the game against the Colts, and they got lucky there. So you can't have your cake and eat it too. You gotta see both sides there, guy. But anyways, Colts are the best team in football. It's just how it is right now. Until something changes, they look great. Moving on, Cowboys at Broncos. We got this one split 50-50. Rogers and myself on the Broncos. Oracle and Woody on Cowboys. Broncos favored by 3.5. I do think this is going to be a close game. I'm hoping that what happened in the fourth quarter catapults the Broncos, and especially Bo Nix, to play better. I don't, Broncos should use this as a game to get their offense really rolling, is how they should look at this. And I think that defense is still good enough to hold the good Cowboys offense down. So this is probably along with that 49ers game, which actually ended up being a lock, but this is a tough game to pick in my opinion. Moving on, Sunday night game. Storied franchises we got Packers favored by 3 at the Steelers. The Aaron Rodgers revenge game. We kind of wish this was in Green Bay. That would be really sweet. Kind of sad it's not. Now that I think about it, I'm really sad it's not. But I everyone except the Oracle on the Packers. This is a pretty tough game. Packers defense needs to get back on track to how it looked, where first couple of weeks they were the Super Bowl team. Um, I think the Packers are just in general a little bit better, but the Steelers are pretty good. Rodgers has looked pretty good. I do just worry sometimes about their offense, sans Metcalf and Rodgers. I just worry about their weapons sometimes. Whereas the Packers don't have somebody near us, like DK Metcalf, but they will take you down by 1,000 cuts of everybody. And Tucker Craft is going to continue with that breakout season. And then, so Oracle Island on the last one. Then we end up Commanders at Chiefs. Chiefs favored by 12.5. Commanders do not have Jaden Daniels. He is out. Rodgers picked the Commanders. Everyone else on the Chiefs. This is normally a game that I think the Chiefs would not cover, but they have been covering these games. I hate to say it, that team looks really good right now, especially with Rashee Rice back. They look a lot better than they did last year. This team seems a lot better than last year. Um, but I understand Rodgers picking the Commanders. This is normally a game the Chiefs don't cover, and it's a big number. But that's probably his rationale if I was guessing. So we end up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 locks on the week. But we will see how this goes, and I will see you next week. Hopefully with some more people. Maybe we'll get the weekly one back, the episodic one back too. But that's been another week of the pick'em. You stay classy, America. I get to say that for the first and probably only time, and I'll see you next week.